Hi, this is Dave Workman with Workman Associates, a financial planning firm in North Central Indiana, and continuing our Zoom interviews with Cass County COVID heroes. We've got Mr. Bill Cuppy, the president of the Logansport Cass County Chamber of Commerce. Bill, how are you?
Doing well, Dave. How are you?
Well, very, very good. I'm glad that you could join us here today. And we've got a couple of different topics we want to talk with Bill today. First of all, can you give me a little bit about the Logansport Chamber of Commerce, Logansport Economic Development Organization. What do those entities focus on?
Okay. Well, real quick, little quick history on that. When I came here from banking for 20 years, the chamber position was open. Historically, it's been a separated organization between the chamber and what we call CLEDO, which is economic development. We saw an opportunity to make it one, to streamline the administrative duties. So myself and Teresa Zimmerman are that. We're both organizations right now. Primarily, historically, the chamber has always focused on business retention, and economic development historically has been business attraction. We find them basically the same. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, they kind of make them, they're kind of one thing. Mm-hmm. So every day when I wake up and I come in, I'm focused on business retention and expansion of who is already here in Logansport and Cass County. Business attraction, what can we do to bring new things to our community? And the third thing I would say is workforce development. It's growing and retaining the workforce locally to help with both retention and expansion. So in a nutshell, we've got just under 350 members. We've got about 13,000 employees that are part of the Chamber of Commerce. So we take this job not lightly. We're not a celebratory handshake and ribbon cuttings only. We want to be impactful to help businesses succeed. So that's why we're here.
So let's talk about what you've accomplished. And let's break it down into a couple of different sections. Let's break it down between COVID, pre-COVID, and COVID. That's kind of what everybody's life is right now. You remember what it used to be, and then what it is right now. So maybe some of the successes you've had pre-COVID.
Dave, pre-COVID, we had a lot of momentum. And we'll get into current COVID where we have momentum too, but pre-COVID, I would say the latter couple months of 2018, all of 19, and then first couple months of 20, we were directly involved with about $140 million worth of business investments. And with that, it's anywhere from, helping Miller's Mary Manors expand to, some smaller projects, but we were up against 5 of our main manufacturers bursting at the seams locally. And our thoughts were, if we can't do something for them, there's always that option that they could leave. So 4 successes we had last year, and one was your interview last week, we helped 4 manufacturers double in size.
Wow.
And that added up to a lot of investment, new jobs, new tax revenue. But real quick, those were Myers Spring. As you talked to Todd Miller, we were helpful in that. They went from basically just over 50,000 square feet to additional 50,000 square feet and added some jobs. Foppers Pet Treat Bakery, if you don't know much about them, they're right behind B&K West. They bought a building across the street from them, which helped them stay right here in Logansport. We had BHJ, which used to be Protein. That was a $19 million investment at the industrial park. We helped them with some incentives and an abatement on that. And then lastly, Logansport Stampings, who, they were already on Main Street. They're still on Main Street, but they chose to purchase a building at the industrial park, which is 117,000 square foot. So they were able to move their employees from Peru. We not only retained them, but we expanded locally. So they're occupying that right now. So that's just 4 examples of what we were doing pre-COVID. And
big examples.
Yeah, we got some good stuff going forward too.
That's great. Now, okay, so now We've had some success. Now we hit COVID, which has really impacted businesses everywhere. So how has the chamber helped businesses during these really uncharted times?
Initially, it was awareness. And when it first hit, businesses were scrambling on what they could and could not do. What were the right guidelines, rules? And if you followed nationally or our governor in Indiana or locally, at times those three different entities would make things, I don't want to say confusing, but we did our best to streamline and pull that into what locally that means. So initially it was an awareness initiative. It quickly became financial, as you probably have clients that the financial instability during COVID is very impactful. We helped several companies navigate through the PPP and the EIDL program, which is a federal program. And this may sound a little staggering, but just in Logansport, Indiana, we had just over 400 companies that utilized PPP.
That's amazing.
So, God bless our local bankers for working nights and weekends, because I had to funnel through your local bank. But we found out that, that was mainly focused on paycheck protection and keeping your employees paid, which is great. But as a business owner, that there's still rent, there's still mortgages, there's still utilities, things like that continue you have to pay, even though maybe no revenues coming in. So at a local level, we developed a program called the Logansport Forgivable Loan Program. And it was geared towards companies with 20 employees or less that were mostly impacted financially with COVID. So for 5 consecutive months, we are funding 54 companies, rent, utilities, some inventory issues. So they pay it. We then reimburse up to $1,000 a month for 5 months consecutive. So 53 companies each receive $5,000 locally. And this was retail, service, restaurant businesses, your smaller mom and pop, locally owned, not franchised companies.
What a great story, Bill. I had no idea.
It's been very impactful. We're working to get that reimbursed for the CARES Act. And if this lingers or COVID continues into 2021, we may do it again. And we used local, we call seeded dollars, which is your economic development income tax dollars. So whoever in the city of Logansport receives a paycheck, 0.25% of that is a local economic development income tax. And we can use it for anything that helps the generalized term of economic development. And we thought, what better way to help 54 companies survive?
That is I had no idea that was taking place. That really is. That's a tremendous story when you think about the ramifications of those businesses in our town, the people that are employed, the money that's spent. We all know the statistics about local dollars being spent and reinvested. That is really a great story. If people ever want to know where their tax dollars go to, that's a very good story.
Thank you. We kind of ran the program, but I have to thank City Council for approving the appropriations. So you never want to have to do it, but we thought it was the best way to use local tax dollars.
No, that's fantastic. So are there some projects you're working on right now? When I say you, the chamber, are there some projects, the chamber, that are going on right now?
We have several projects. What you learn in COVID is you have a lot of time to plan and meetings like this. We have a lot of people doing some very impactful things, but a lot of things that continue to roll in our local community. Tyson continues to expand out there, both internally and externally. Right now, we have the lowest turnover of any Tyson operation in the United States,
Hmm.
which is a lot of that is based on our diversity and our adaptation to Latino and Burmese and Guatemalan and Haitian. We've really welcomed those groups, those individuals, and Tyson Corporate loves to be here. So in the last couple of years, they've done $10 million projects, $15 million projects. They're up to about 2,300 employees, and their annual salary is $92 million.
Wow.
That doesn't even include health benefits, or that's just purely the salaries that get generated in our community. We have things like the mall. I get a lot of questions about the mall, and if you drive by, there's activity going on at the mall. Right now, there's internal demolition on the Sears side, and we have 2 tenants going in there. In the next 3 weeks, you will start to see demolition of the old Pennies. That will be completely demolished, and we do have a Hampton Inn Suites new hotel, 95 bed, several stories, conference room, indoor pool. You know, one of the nicest hotels that we could probably get for the size of our community. You know, we're not going to get
Right. Ritz-Carlton.
yeah, you're not going to get that. But this is about the highest end that we can get, and we did get it. So we're excited about that.
We've stayed at Hampton a bunch of times, and you know, Holiday Inn Express are great hotels.
They are, and you know, the Holiday Inn's doing some upgrades right now, and our numbers show and our reports show that we can handle another hotel. Just ask Perry Gay at the hospital, or Michelle Starkey at the schools, or Rick Peterson at Tyson. They continually have trouble with hotel stays, and they need more. So we went out and got it. You'll see more demolition. The whole front of the mall is going to be coming off. We're really working hard to, you know, retail attainment during COVID has been very challenging.
Whoa.
You know, a lot of retails, they're just kind of seeing what they've got and how this is going to work out. So it's been a little harder to gain the retailers that we thought we had. But nevertheless, we do have some promising clients. We have a lot of studies that show that, you know we need men's clothing. We know we need restaurants. We know we need shoe stores, you know, things like that. We renewed the contract with Dunham's. So things are rolling with the mall and the hotel. Housing is always a big thing. We've got East End housing right now in the works. Our goal is to put 40 to 50 brand new homes along High Street and Yorktown Road in the 170 to 230 range, 230,000. We plan to have a walking trail there, connections to the mall, a lot more green space. But we have a lot of studies showing that we need certain price points of housing. And with that, we have a committee put together that we have a developer now, and you should see activity out there in the next couple of months.
That's fantastic. Once again, that was something that I just wasn't familiar with. You know, I was really impressed with the number of young people that have become involved. Many of them came back to Logansport in the last 6 months in different facets. I'll say that. And so that's really exciting. You know, that's really exciting because the mall obviously has been a black eye, and to think that we've got a hotel, tenants, that is really a great accomplishment because that's not the case for a lot of small towns right now. I mean, it just isn't.
And Dave, you talked about the younger generation, and we have 3 programs specifically geared towards that. We have an internship program that the city of Logansport funds the first $1,000 of the internship. We had 62 internships in the last 2 years. So we placed 62 college students within local companies with the goal that they get to know the owner, they like what they do. So when they go off to college or wherever they go, they remember Logansport and want to come back.
That's very nice.
We have a leadership program with Purdue University that focuses on, developing, soft skills, presentation skills, getting immersed in your community. And as that is from with us and Purdue University. And lastly, the Chamber has a next gen group made up of 18 to 35-year-olds that primarily focus on networking and getting our next leaders prepared to be on committees and board of directors. I get on a lot of boards. I'm on 9 of them right now, and you look around and it's a lot of the same faces, which isn't a bad thing, but we're limited on, certain things. Sometimes you need new energy, new people,
Right.
the next generation. So those 3 things we work on daily with.
Well, that's fantastic. As I said, I think those are some great things to try to segue the younger generation into, like you say, the boards, the committees, and everything. Let me have you put on a different hat for a second.
Okay.
I believe you are the school board president.
Yes, don't hold that to me, but yeah,
But so tell me a little bit about what's going on with our school.
I tell you, it's been a challenging. We talk about COVID. It's been very challenging. There's a lot of pressure and need, socially, emotionally, education-wise, to have kids in school. And with that, we take it very serious, and we have a pretty robust reopening plan that we follow. We have masks mandated all day. We have different starting times. We have smaller class sizes. And with that, we've been blessed to not have a lot of cases to this point. And we've had a lot of quarantine. We've had a lot of, if a popular kid gets it that happens to be in, a sport, clubs, band, all this stuff, they touch, they're near a lot of people. So we've had a lot of quarantines, but not so much actual cases. And we have right at 5,000 individuals. We have 4,300 kids and about 700 staff members. Wow. So it's very challenging. But so far, like I said, we've been blessed and we are continuing to be in school. With COVID, we did take advantage of some CARES Act money. We moved Jeff Kennedy to our workforce coordinator, make sure we're doing things right with sanitation, the quarantine process. We hired a virtual learning expert because you have the option of doing it virtual or in person. We had about 700 kids that chose virtual. So we had no time to prepare this, Dave. So we went and found an expert on virtual learning that we're able to pay through CARES Act money. But as a board, we haven't stopped. We just got through our second hearing of a new bond. We're going to do $42 million bond. And we've been working on this for about 3 years, Dave. And we're going to construct a new 5th grade, 6th grade school on Chase Road.
Right.
So between the church on Chase Road and Woodbridge, School Corporation owns land there. We are constructing a 5th, 6th school and also a centralized preschool. Right now, all of our elementaries have preschool. We're going to centralize them into one location. So every elementary will be kindergarten through 4th grade.
Good plans.
In our other 9 buildings, we are all new safety measures. So the double entrance, the videos, the buzzing in, buzzing out, really ramping up our safety measures because ultimately, yes, education is a priority, but the number one thing is safety.
Right.
If you can't feel safe or your kids can't feel safe at school, they won't succeed. Well, and we put about $5 million into Fairview. So
that's a lot going on. It's interesting, Bill. You talk about a virtual learning expert. Now, you're obviously a lot younger than I am. But were there a lot of virtual learning experts when you were going through college? I mean,
virtual wasn't even a word, was it? I don't recall it. I didn't know them if they were.
Well, you hear all these new jobs being created, different types of jobs, and it's exciting. I think, or should be exciting. That's a lot going on, Cup.
A major hurdle we're overcoming.
What's that?
With all the virtual learning and people working at home like yourself right now, broadband has been a challenge. Connectivity. So we are working with several fiber companies to try to make Logansport a build-out community to have fiber, both residential and commercial. Right now we have a lot of commercial clients on fiber, but our goal is to have residential too, because these kids working from home at school, when you don't have fiber, you share bandwidth, where fiber is dedicated to you and you only. So when kids are all doing it at the same time, you'll notice that your connectivity gets a little interrupted.
Right. It's like a traffic jam. It's like a traffic.
Our goal is to make it a build out, and we're getting closer and closer. So stay tuned on that.
That's exciting. Now, I don't know if you're involved with, but I think some fiber or some Wi-Fi, I'm not sure, went out toward like Dykeman and Engineering Aggregates and some of those companies, as a matter of fact.
We actually used TIF dollars to help them build out on 18th Street, which we had limestone challenges, because that's why Casey Jones is out there, because there's limestone.
Right.
But nevertheless, we got them up to a 1 gig connectivity. We used TIF dollars, and we're always looking to use TIF dollars for infrastructure and things like that. We also use TIF dollars to connect a lot of people with a company called MetroNet. We used $250,000 of TIF to build out our industrial park. So everybody at the industrial park can go up to 10 gig speed, upload and download.
Wow.
And we use Comcast for that. So we're always looking for ways to make Logansport marketable and pro-business.
Well, I got to tell you, I think that there are some opportunities with COVID in the fact that people are looking to possibly reassess living in the bigger city.
Yes.
I'll tell you another thing about Logansport that's unbelievable. I had a teacher move from Logansport to live with her daughters out in California. County and state taxes were 25%.
Yeah. Definitely tax rate and cost of living is something that you cannot beat in little towns like ours. That money goes so much further. There's calculators out there that'll show you, what your $50,000 a year salary will buy here compared to, Los Angeles, and does a cost of living breakdown that you'll learn quickly that it's a pretty good place to be.
Well, it is a pretty good place to be. We've got a local hospital. We've got a great school corporation. We've got our utilities. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to live in Logansport. Great interview, Cup. Not that I expected anything less from you, but this has been a great interview. I mean, it really opened up my eyes to what's going on. And I think that if the general attitude of folks would be positive, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. And so this has been a very positive interview. Before we cut off, anything else you'd like to say?
No, as we continue to work with businesses, I feel some apprehension, I feel some anxiety, but for the most part, our businesses locally have been, persevere. They are positive, they're optimistic, and they're persevering. So we're in this together, and thanks for doing this to bring awareness. And I've enjoyed your previous interviews. I'll watch this one and see how this one goes, but I do thank you for what you're doing.
Well, you're welcome, Cup. Listen, thank you so much. And folks, that was Mr. Bill Cuppy, president of our Logansport Cass County Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Cass-Logansport Economic Development Organization, CLEDO. I'm Dave Workman with Workman Associates Financial Planning here in North Central Indiana. Been a proud member of the Chamber of Commerce since June of '88. I don't know if you were born yet, Cup, but I was a member back then, a member now. So folks, if we can help you with any of your investments, insuring, retirement planning, please give us a call. And I look forward to talking to you next time on Cass County COVID Heroes. Thanks so much. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.